welcome to another video, and especially welcome to another Guess the Movie video. Today I'm bringing you a very difficult one. I think it could be considered a level 10 movie because of how hard it will be to guess it. But if you do, I'm sure you're a horror fan as myself. So let's start like in the past video with 10 points, and I have my notes here. Let's start with 10 points. First, we're going to talk about the genre of the movie. It's a horror movie, as I was saying, but you have to take into account that when we're talking about horror, we're talking about these blood-focused scenarios, because we could have different types of horrors like thrillers or maybe more like ghosts and demons, but in this case we're talking about a slasher. It's actually a slasher, but this slasher, even though he goes to people's house to attack them, in this case I'm talking about the second movie, and in this case people go to his own house, let's call it, although it's not particularly a house, but it's the place where he likes to keep his entertainments, really gross entertainments. Okay, so for 9 points now, subtract 1 point. We're talking about appearance here. The characters don't really dress in a fancy way that catches our attention, but the slasher does. And even though it's quite neutral because he wears all black, he has a mask in his face, and this mask has very particular fabric that makes it seem like it's a spider. And if you know the movie with this little hint I just gave you, you will be able to figure out which one it is. Also, the mask has some, I think they're called laces or strings, that you have to tie at the back of your head, and the rest is just a black jumper and a black pair of trousers. And also in the second movie we have a character that is a secondary character, and she is dressed up like a doll. She has like very princess-like clothes, but she has some makeup on her face that is really very poorly applied, and her whole appearance makes it seem like she is a doll. So yeah, so now for 8 points we're going to subtract 1 point now, and for 8 points we're going to talk about ambience. And when we're talking about ambience, we're talking about different scenarios that we can see in the movie. As I was saying, in the second movie, because there are 2 movies, and I chose the second one because it's my favorite. In the second movie we have a club at the beginning of the film, and this guy makes his appearance there, and in this club they're all partying and there's a DJ, and people are having just a great time overall. Like every slasher movie, you know, they start with this great time with not precisely teenagers but young adults having fun, and before everything goes to before everything goes wrong. So, but I think the most important ambience in the movie is this house I was talking about with quotes, because this house is actually a hotel, and I think this is quite interesting for a horror movie, because not many horror scenarios are focused on hotels. But take into account that this hotel is not like room 1408. It's actually a hotel the killer has set up, an abandoned hotel, for his creations. I was talking before, his entertainments, and it's decorated to his liking, and you can imagine which type of decorations he has, right? So yeah, and at the end of the movie we see another house, and this one is the actual house of the killer, which really caught the attention of the viewers, especially if they have watched the first movie, because we weren't expecting the killer to be shown in his house. Like, it was a very normal house. It gave the feeling of a neighborhood house, and he wasn't wearing his clothes. So, I mean, he wasn't wearing his slasher clothes. He was just wearing a normal jean jacket and a pair of trousers. And I think this just makes it all the creepier, because you start to think that he could be like any guy anywhere. So yeah. Now let's subtract 1 point, and let's go with animals. In this movie, there are a few animals. Most of them are spiders, because, as I was saying before, the guy is, I think, obsessed in a way with the spiders, or at least he tries to imitate them. And since he is an entomologist, as we can see by a few seconds of the movie, because we see his diploma on the wall, although you really have to pay close attention for this and watch the movie a couple of times. So yeah, you can see spiders. There are some that are in a jar, and he takes them out, and the spiders just crawl on a woman's body. And this was made because I had the fortune of interviewing the main actress, and she told me that when she recorded this in she was not really scared of the spiders, but she didn't want to hurt them, so she was thinking that maybe she could twist her body in a way, or have some certain type of reflex that could make the spider bite her, or maybe she could crush it. And yeah, so they put another woman, like, I don't know the word for it in English. I think it was like, you know, the person that does the takes for you when you are an actor or an actress and you're the main, especially when you're the main character, and you can risk your own self. So there was another woman, and they just used one spider to crawl up on her face, and then they edited so it seemed like there were like 3 or 4 spiders. It was really cool. I didn't know it wasn't her until she told me. Then we have another animal, are German Shepherds. I love German Shepherds, and these are like, I think there were 3 dogs, which are the slashers dogs, and this is very cool because you can see them that they obey him, and it's like, I think this is very twisted when it happens with animals in fictional scenarios, because it's like someone took advantage over the good nature of the dogs or the animals, because dogs like to obey and they don't really know that what they're doing is not morally correct. But other than that, when they appear on the screen, you really see that these are really good boys, because they're standing there with their tails almost wiggling, but then you have the addition and the take, and it seems like they are ferocious. But you can see, like, if you pause the movie, you will see that they are very cute standing next to him. So yeah. Alright, now let's subtract 1 point here, and for 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 9, 8, 7, for 6 points now, we're going to talk about clothes. Well, I was giving it away before, but yeah, we have the clothes of the killer. As I was saying, it's all black, But maybe what I could add here is that he doesn't show his face. We never see his face. There's not a part where he removes his mask and we are shown the face. It doesn't happen. He does remove his mask, but you don't see his face, you just see the back of his head. And when he's in his house at the end of the movie, you just see from here down to his legs, and or maybe you see the back or just a little bit of the side and his ear, but you don't see his face. And I think this has to do, despite the mystery that it creates, I think this has to do with the fact that they are different actors. In the first movie, there was a Dominican who played the slasher role, and in the second movie I think it was American, although I could be wrong. So yeah, different actors and different different hair, different skin tone, and that really caught my attention because you have a bald actor in the main one, and even though you don't see his face, like the mask at the back has like some holes, so you can see that he's bald. And in the second movie he has like almost reddish hair, and that's really well, it catches your attention. And at the same time, the first slasher in the first movie, he was a slender guy, like more not necessarily athletic, but he was tall and slender. And in the second movie he's like very plump. So yeah, that also catches your attention because apparently there hasn't been much time in the fictional world between the first story and the second one. So yeah, I don't know why they chose those different people, but and then we have for 5 points now, so start 1 point. Then we have food. I don't think there is necessarily anything related to food here. What you have to see is that the people who he has at the hotel don't really seem well fed, but at the same time there is a girl who is like on the wall, or she's alive, but apparently I can't remember now if she has an IV or something like that. I don't want to lie, but yeah, they don't seem well fed at all. What you just see at the beginning of the movie at the party are people, drinking and stuff like that, but nothing really related to food that I could think about. Okay, for 4 points now, let's talk about music. This one is a favorite of mine when they had like really punchy songs, or I don't know the word for songs. When they are very sticky and funny, especially when it comes to horror, because it's a great contrast. In this case we have a song called Monsterbot, and I think it was by Robosoul. I don't know how to pronounce it. And Monsterbot is played at the disco, where you see all those people having fun before everything goes wrong. And then with the same song you see like it's actually grotesque. It really dances with the grotesque aspect. So yeah, Monsterbot. And the rest of the movie doesn't really have a song title that you could find elsewhere other than in the the soundtrack, the specific soundtrack of the movie. So yeah, for 3 points now, let's go with actors. So I was talking, there were different actors. One of them, the first one was can't remember his name now. He was a Dominican, but can't remember his name. I have to check it out. But in this second movie that I chose, the name of the actor was Randall Archer. Oh yeah, it first one was Juan Fernandez. I think it was Juan Fernandez. And in the second movie, it was Randall Archer. The main actress was Emma Fitzpatrick in the second movie. And in the first and second movie, we have Josh Stewart or Stewart, I don't know how to pronounce his surname. And yeah, they're both the main good guys characters. Actually, I chose the second one because it's my favorite, but I think the first one with just Josh Stewart or Stewart, I think it was like very great in the suspense aspect, especially the beginning of the movie, because his character was thief. So you have like a good guy, but not that good. And you have the thief and the slasher playing like a mouse and cat game, and yeah, it has you like at the edge of your seat. So I really recommend it if you like horror, of course. If not, don't watch it. And then we have the credits. So for 2 points, we can talk about a couple of scenes. We can talk about in the second movie that I chose. You have one scene where the one that was talking about when he was at his house, the slasher was at his house at the end of the movie, and this thief has found him, and now he knows who the slasher is, and he goes to his house and points at him with a gun, and he puts him into a red box. And the red box is a key element in this movie. So if you have watched it by now with the red box, you have to know which movie I'm talking about. And by the way, there is another scene that I like with the girl, that the woman that seemed like a doll, because she comes out of a box. The main female character opens the box. She is let out, and you know, she looks like a doll, and then she seems like this really good, lovely person that has suffered so much, but all of a sudden she plays them all and locks them in a room for the killers. So yeah, plot twist. And last, we can talk about for 1 point, we can talk about quotes. And for quotes, let me think. Yeah, there's one quote at the end of the movie where the slasher is found by the thief, and he says, "Are you here to kill me?" And this may seem like a very silly quote, but he doesn't say a word in the whole 2 films, so it's the first time at the last minute of the movie that we hear his voice. So this, for the fans of this movie, this has been great, and we have laughed that he finally spoke, because the rest of the movie he was just silent or purring like a cat, or even making like little noises like he was a spider. So yeah, or he was breathing deeply, but never talked, never formed a sentence until then, so you could think he was mute. So yeah, and I think the thief says something like, "No, I'm not here to kill you. Like, this could be so easy. First, I'm gonna make you feel everything that I felt, and then I'm going to kill you, so that you never." And then the quote is cut off because the killer tries to attack him, and he just punches him in the face and sends him into the red box he has first put him in. So it's like a revenge. And we don't get to see the third movie yet because it was cancelled when the pandemic came. So I'm still waiting for it. We don't know if they're going to resume the movie, sadly. The actor that was going to portray the killer now was blonde and slender as well, so I don't really see the connection. But the actor was going to be Peter Giles, and you know, I was really I think all the fans, we were really glad that there was going to be a third part, a sequel. but it never came, and I'm losing faith now. I don't know. Oh, also, for let's call it a little bonus if you haven't guessed by now, this movie was inspired by Saw. The Saw movies. It was actually meant to be, I think, like Jigsaw during his youth, his young years. But then they tried to re-edit the story in a way, because I don't know if there was conflict with that, or if they just wanted to create a separate thing. But yeah, if you know, you know. So hope you have guessed, and let me know in the comments which movie I'm talking about.